Language is a method of communication thought to be unique to humans. Language has constantly evolved amongst centuries and even generations with the rise of new slang and the need for others to maintain the relevance of ancient languages. In the broad sense, language has evolved from simple hand motions to sounds to fully generated languages, which include their own alphabets and accents. When examining the origin or evolution of something, the goal is to trace back to its roots and follow its evolutionary path. However, this is a major problem when looking at a language because we have no idea where it came from or how it evolved. So at this point, it is essentially only theory. There are three possible theories for the origin or evolution of language. The first theory being that there was a proto-world, meaning that everyone spoke the same language at the same time and all languages descended from that language. For example, one large group of people spoke the same language and from then on, groups of people moved to different regions which eventually led to each group continuously adding variation to the language, to the point where everyone who spoke the same language can no longer understand each other. The second theory is that this proto-world partially existed, meaning that language was a form of different tones and grunts that had different meanings. From then on, it was possible that language evolved from these pre-languages. The third theory is that this proto-world didn't exist at all, so maybe different languages evolved independently and modern language developed from all of those combined. Or the genetic mutations allowed for humans to speak, and from their language was invented multiple times in different parts of the world. Within species, it is clear that brain size correlates with a greater potential for behavioral learning. Therefore, in humans, there must be a connection between language evolution and brain evolution. The first genus, known as Homo, evolved 1.9 million years ago and saw a slight expansion in the Broca's area of the brain, which is part of the frontal lobe associated with language. The neocortex of the brain appears to be the most recent evolutionary addition to contribute to human language development. In humans, the neocortex makes over 80% of the brain and is important for more adaptive and complex cognitive abilities. The evolution from the use of physical forms of communication, such as hand signals, to those with a verbal basis has become essential for transmitted language. Roughly 150,000 years ago, a physiological change occurred. The position of the larynx shifted lower into the throat. This shift in position allowed for more pronounced vowel and speech sounds. It has been suggested that Neanderthals may have had some form of language, but it may have failed to extend because they lacked a physical apparatus for producing more complex sounds. However, the lower position of the larynx in the throat makes humans much more susceptible to choking than any other mammal. This makes this adaptation very strange and counterintuitive and would have no other reason to evolve in such a way unless it was meant for some selective advantage. Since the larynx contains the vocal cords and is our main organ for speech, it would seem as though it had evolved for its potential speaking purpose. Overall, it is clear that there are physical evolutionary changes in humans with regard to the vocalization of speech and communication. However, we are still uncertain in determining where language truly originated and how it could have evolved because as time passes, our languages will become more sophisticated and complex, making it even more difficult to trace back to its roots.